Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay, so
Morning.
Morning.
So today,
Morning.
my topic is how to sell real estate during and post pandemic. I think after 1 year's pandemic, I think we have a lot of ideas and all these things. Maybe we never organized it. So maybe today I will just do a summary of I think some of these things probably a lot of us know already. So we just do a summary of what we know and maybe we share some knowledge. So yeah, this is a disclaimer. This is for training only. So today we are going to go through a few topics. Firstly, we will look at what is the impact of this pandemic on real estate market. What are the challenges faced by the real estate agents? What are the ways to overcome the challenges? What is the market trend post-pandemic? What should be our strategy? Okay, so firstly, I just introduce briefly about this COVID-19 pandemic. I think we know very well already. So it has been declared as a pandemic worldwide by WHO on the 11th March 2020, about 1 year plus ago. And Malaysia entered the first MCO soon after that. So Malaysia has gone through a few stages of lockdown, semi-lockdown, and all these things. I think this thing may come and go in the future. So there are some restriction on the movement and our business activities during all these lockdowns. So at this moment, until yesterday, the accumulated COVID-19 cases in Malaysia is about 622,000 in total. I think the cases will still go up. In general, I think the business, everyone can feel that is affected. So what are the impact of the pandemic to the real estate market? So I think I will look at this from a few perspectives. Firstly, is on the commercial office usage. I think there's a clear decrease in the commercial office usage as everyone work from home. And then there is actually an increase in the residential usage. I won't say there's an increase of demand, but the usage definitely has increased because everyone, when they don't go to their office, they actually stay at home. And they spend more times in their residential properties. So there's a reduction in commercial shop demand in general. And there's an increase of warehouse and logistic demands. Because everyone now, some of them cannot open their shops. They actually close some of the shops. Maybe they got 10 shops, maybe they close like 5 of them or 6 of them. They will actually move to some warehouse and they just do a delivery from there. So there's a lot of delivery going on now, and the logistic property demand has definitely increased. So shopping mall has also seen a reduction in the demand because some shops cannot open and all these things. Then some shops are maybe not so convenient for people to visit. So we also have seen a decentralization of real estate demands in both residential and commercial. So nowadays we can see that people are not so or less people, they want to move to city center, or more people, they want to stay at the neighborhood, maybe they are like far away from city center. Okay, decrease in this one I mentioned already. Reduction of the short-term house rentals in the midterm. So for the next, I think maybe 2 years or probably 2 to 3 years, I think there was a reduction in the short-term rental like Airbnb and all these things. And also same thing as a student accommodation because a lot of things has been carried out online. So what are the challenges that we will face commonly by all the real estate agents? Firstly, we have a social distancing and a lot of activities we can't carry out. For example, there's no like sales roadshow, we can't do it, or there's some networking events we can't go and attend. So at times there are also lockdowns and no viewings allowed. A loan approval is a problem, as generally some people don't have an income, facing a reduction in income, and their loan eligibility goes down. So there are also some wait and see attitude from customers. People are delaying their decision-making process. We also currently facing a higher availability in both rental and sale, and customers, they feel like spare of choice. They want a better deal. They are harder to be satisfied. We also have a problem, which is restriction of foreigners to enter Malaysia, which caused a lot of a drop in demand in especially city center properties. So after we look at the problems, we have to look at some what are the ways to overcome all these things. Okay, so for example, now it's MCO. We can't go out for viewing and all these things. So I think the first thing we have to do is always to be ready lah. Ready in terms of picking up your phone. Maybe someone is calling you. You are not like still sleeping, and all these things. And if there's a viewing and you can go for viewing. For example, it's a landed house. Then we need to be ready. Maybe it's near your house. You can go out. We need to be ready to go for all these viewings lah. So we have to also ready with all the property info and photos and provide to the customers. Nowadays, we have to provide more beautiful photos and videos, because now people can't go and see the properties, and this is the most important way to attract prospects. We also need, nowadays, we also need virtual tours, and we have a lot of softwares and systems, eye staging, and there are also like people like Matterport and all these things to provide all this. And before we take a photo nowadays, because we want a beautiful photo, right? We need to spend more time to prepare the scene. Last time we used to take some photos, maybe just chin chai and without any preparation. So nowadays we need to prepare the scene a bit more so that we can take a better photos. And we need to continue our marketing activities lah, and also to build our listing. Okay, then one more thing. Nowadays, a lot of people are quite concerned, if there's an MCO, how and all these things, so they do not dare to make decisions. So we have to have some MCO clauses in the booking form or sales agreement. So for example, if there's a lockdown, then we can extend the validity of the thing, or maybe there's escape clauses or whatever. So to make sure they make decision fast enough. Okay, we also need to remind our clients, our owners, to sell the properties before the property value drop further. And we need to focus on fire sale or below market value properties. And one more thing nowadays, because the market is quite bad, we need to talk to the seller, no matter how low is the offer. And okay, so nowadays we have some properties, and there are people looking for properties. Maybe they are at home, they need to have a better house and all these things. So there are some property features that we can highlight to all these people that is actually a plus point to the properties. For example, nowadays a lot of the people, when they look for a house, they will need a home office. Maybe they need to do a Zoom meeting. Maybe they upgrade because previously there's no room for them. Maybe there's a room for children, room for themselves. There's no proper place to do their home office or do their Zoom meeting or a study room. Nowadays, okay, how many times nowadays we cook at home compared to before? Probably people need a larger fridge, a larger oven, or basically a larger kitchen. So they need to use it more frequently. And a lot of people nowadays, because they can't go out, they can't do exercise, if the budget allow, they want to have some private outdoor space. For example, if I want to bring my kids to go out, do some jogging, cycling. Nowadays it's not allowed, right? Cycling. So some people, they want some maybe corner lot to do some activities. So they are also, nowadays we also spend more time at home. So those people, if they have budget, then they want some, maybe if it's a landed house, maybe it's a 4-room, then they want to convert one of the room to become the activity rooms. Then they can spend some time with children, some activities at home, instead of doing that in the living room. So nowadays, we also go out for shopping. Maybe with our wife, when they come back, then you need to take bath, all these things. Then you're not sure whether you got any virus stick at your body, right? So it will be a plus point if I think this one maybe for more for landed house. If we can have like a zone where people can do their wash their hand, maybe do a or take a bath and all this before they enter the living room or kitchen. So we also need more hand-free features nowadays. Maybe sensor, some knobs that you can easily open. So we also nowadays, if you have a delivery-friendly features, because we order more things online, and when people comes, when the delivery man comes, maybe we are not around, then they need to leave the thing somewhere in the house, and maybe we have seen in Facebook, whatever, people complain that, oh, this guy, they drop the thing in front of our house, you know, and maybe there's a rain, whatever, the thing get wet. So if there are delivery-friendly features, it will be a plus point, and people will really love all these features. And nowadays, people really spend time do their gardening. Maybe they plant some flowers, they plant some vegetables for themselves because it's more healthy and all these things. Because people got more time and they work from home nowadays. So in these challenging times, it's also quite important that because we have less deals to handle, right? So we go and check all our existing tenancy agreements and approach the owner a few months before that, whether can we handle your tenancy renewal. Because some owners, if you don't approach them, they talk to the tenant and do the renewal directly. There's no fee for us. So it's important that we check with the tenant and the owner if they want us to handle the tenancy agreement and make sure a fee is agreed. Otherwise, nowadays we have to sign the document virtually or electronically. So these are the ways we can do now to handle maybe our reduction in income, all these things, to try to boost our income. So now we are going to look at what are the real estate trends post-pandemic. So we know what is coming and how can we get ready. Okay, firstly, I think the work from home trend will still continue even after the pandemic, because people has got used to it, because the procedures are already there. People already got a server. They can do their accounting, their other things remotely from home. So people will continue to use it. And most important thing, there's actually a strong demand from the employees to request for this work from home, because it's more flexible for them. They can save a lot of traveling times. They don't need to go out and do it at home. Often there are people who prefer to go to office, but there are also a lot of people, I think more than half, that they want to work from home, or they want to have a mix. So they want to have maybe like 2-day work from home or 3-day work from home, then 2-day go to office. They want that flexibility. And if you have read recently the news, Facebook asked their staff in America to go back to the office, and the employees actually gather together and write a letter to Mark Zuckerberg and request him to look at this feature and say it's like without considering the staff willingness or welfare. So you can see that the demand for work from home is so strong. And we expect this shop online trend to be continued, because it's so convenient and you can make comparisons so easily, comparing to you run 2 shops, 3 shops, and some of the shops don't sell all these things. So on the other hand, as we look at the market evolve, we also looking at previously we have industrial automation, where you have maybe machines helping workers to do the production of like the manufacturing works. Nowadays, we will be looking at service automation, meaning robots or softwares, they are coming to replace some of the office workers to do their works. And people are adopting various automation in process, accounting, admin, and even sales. So we have all these chatbot, all these things. People are trying to reduce the manpower to do all these works, because firstly, there's an increase. People will increase for like salary increase, all these things. So people want to save costs, and this robot can really do a lot of things nowadays. So now we have more powerful programs, AIs, and the machine can learn by themselves through process. So it's actually more feasible to do all this automation now. In the long run, we also will expect some kind of reduction in the overall job opportunities due to all these things. Because firstly, people work from home already, and I can tell you some of these things, the employers will just reduce all these works and get it done by all these softwares or automations, because nowadays you don't even need them to come to work, right? So might as well I let machines or software or AI, whatever, to handle all these things. So we'll see some reduction in overall job opportunities. And because a lot of people, they actually lose their jobs, so these people will actually move to on-demand jobs like Grab, Foodpanda, all these things. And there are also maybe 4 more freelance jobs. Maybe some people, they will just write a software for people, write a website for people, then they get the salary from there, or get their pay from there. Okay, so as this thing continues, we know that this society has been seeing a lot of inequality, right? So all this divergence of economy and society will become more more and more obvious or more and more serious. Firstly, I think this thing has been always happening, and after this pandemic will become even more significant, because you see a lot of people lose their jobs now in this pandemic. But if you look at the rich people, they are also getting richer, and you see how many rich people really lose, like become poor. Very few, right? I think maybe other than Asia and all these people. So larger companies are here to conquer more market shares, and SMEs will have more difficult times. And you see nowadays, those who close their doors mostly are SMEs. I wouldn't say all, but mostly are SMEs. They will have the impact more serious than big companies. So big players nowadays, they actually put a lot of money just to get market shares. They don't care about the profitability. Like you see Grab, Shopee, all these things, because the money is cheap, so they get funding from a lot of people to invest in this company and tell people that this got potential and all these things. They'll become very big, like Facebook or Grab and all these things. So they will actually go out and subsidize a market. So they will go out and just conquer the market at a loss and just don't care. So in the long run, in every market, the profitability or the profit margin will actually reduce, and it's become very difficult for small players to enter the market or just to maintain a profit, or they are there already, but they cannot maintain a profitability because the big boys are really throwing prices. So if you go to Shopee, and nowadays you got all these Shopee marks and all these things, right? And you look at their prices, they're really crazy. If, for example, now you go and buy this thing from Shopee Mart, it can be cheaper than Tesco, cheaper than anyone, or even cheaper than wholesaler. So just now we talked about the divergence of society. Then we have, I think a lot of us have seen this graph, the M society, meaning the middle class will shift either to become rich people, maybe 10% will become rich people, but 90% of them will become poorer. And this middle class will be slowly shrinking. Then we also talk about the economy. Nowadays, we talk about a K-shaped recovery. So after this pandemic, last time we talked about some V-shaped recovery, some U-shaped recovery, some L-shaped recovery, and all these things. Now we have a new theory called K-shaped recovery. So some people, probably they got subsidy by the government, probably they have a stronger market power, all these things. They will recover very fast after this pandemic. So they will see a green line. The big companies, they will actually go up and regain their strength very soon after this pandemic. But some companies, for example, SMEs, they will maybe after this, you will find that it's even tougher for them to do business. So they will be going down. So
oh, no sound.
Henki. Ho, hang your ho.
So there's a problem now, sir. So everyone from home, the internet, jialat.
Ho suddenly 不见了 ho， 在哪里 ho？ 讲到这样兴奋的时候不见掉 ho， 你真的。
你都講佢輕機，你咁而家講你都聽唔到。
你哋有
他的 line cut off 了咩
？cut off 了，他先回來。ho 講到這樣興奮的時候，什麼 K 型現在忽然間。
You didn't hear the news. The teacher teach after 1 hour. The student didn't hear anything at all. In the Facebook.
Okay, let me. So just now was Until when? Until when?
The K recovery.
K-shape
K-shape
recovery.
economy.
Previous-
Yeah.
K-shape.
Previous slide again.
So
Here.
K-shape.
Yep.
So I said big companies, they will actually recover very fast, and you see this green line. And because they got more subsidy from government, they got bigger financial powers, so they will actually conquer the market after this. And you see the SMEs, some of them can't survive, so they will just go maybe close, or some can't do very well after this. So you will see a bigger market conquered by the big companies after this. So after this, after we look at all the trends and all these things, so we will look at what should be our long-term strategies. So I think, especially for residential agents, we should focus on home upgrades. Because for example, now even myself, if I got a budget, I want to upgrade to a better house because I spend more time at home, I can't go out, and I want more things at home to be done at home. I want to bring my maybe my kids want to play ping pong. There's no house for me to put a ping pong table. If can, I want to buy a bigger house. I want to go bring them maybe to a gated garden landed house area. Hopefully I can stay there, Park City or whatever. I want to do my jogging there. So there are actually a lot of want to upgrade their house. Of course, so here it's quite important that we look for people who will look for home upgrades, and whenever is affordable to the people lah. And we need to look at high-end segments, because as we look at the market just now, we know that high market, okay, there are two groups of people. So you will have more rich people, you will have also more poor people, and you decide what market you want to serve. And there's a reducing middle class, and a lot of our business, I think we are doing, we are serving a lot of middle class previously, and this group will slowly reduce, and the market share will be decreased. And probably this middle class also have a squeeze in their income. They also can't upgrade their homes. So we need to, important that we need to cover the high-end market, because they will actually continue to buy more properties, and poor people will be getting more difficult to buy properties. And middle class people also will have, mostly will have more difficulties to buy properties. And whenever middle class, this group of people, where they really become a rich people, they will actually look for home upgrades. So nowadays, I think previously we used to do a lot of city center properties, maybe some Sohos, some small units in city area where people want to be conveniently go to the work area in the city center. They want to be nearer to city. They cannot be too far from city because they need to drive like 1 hour, 30 minutes from their house to work. So nowadays, with the same budget, people will choose to buy generally a bigger house in an area further from the work, because they want more features in the house. Nowadays, they don't need to travel so frequent to office, and this will be the general trend. And you need to focus on your neighborhood or a neighborhood. You need to know in and out of the area. You need to know very well to the area, because nowadays internet are so easy to find information, and people will do a lot of surveys if they're really serious, because we want to serve serious buyers, right? So these people, they actually will do a lot of homeworks on the area, and you need to show that you know more than them. And you need to show, not only you need to know the area quite well, you need to show to the buyer that you know the seller quite well, and you know how to convince the seller. Of course, continuously, we also need to grow our database or listings, and we need to retarget the same group of buyers, because I think we have a lot of us have seen this rule of 7 means the prospect buyers actually will hear from you 7 times before they buy from you. So we need to be niche. And lastly, we need to change our mindset to be ready for the challenge. It's up to us to tell ourselves whether we can do it or not. Okay, so we look at this picture. So can you sell ice to Eskimo? How many of us here think that he can sell ice to Eskimo? Anyone? Or it's just like you know?
I can.
You can. Okay, is it just a trader dongeng only? It's a legend only, or what? So maybe Emily can tell us how you want to sell ice to Eskimo.
Okay, first I will tell them that actually this ice is a healthy ice. It's a different ice. I will actually go on the health elements lah, instead of the normal ice lah.
Okay.
So then after you're taking this ice ready, then you can how to say protect yourself from the COVID. Protects only.
So you need to improve the feature of the ice lah. So put some new features inside.
Yes. I'll add in some vitamin C lah, some good stuff in lah.
Okay, for them to eat lah.
So
any other people have any ideas how to sell ice to Eskimo? But when we look at this, a lot of times we think that this is bullshit. Cannot be done right? Most of us will think like this is cannot lah. So are we going to change our mindset today that we can do this? Any more new ideas?
Cut the ice in the art piece.
Okay, so add values to the ice lah. Okay, anything else? Anyone else?
Same no, you need to process the ice lah. So into a refined product, which they can't do that, so that you can sell the refined product of the ice. So to the ice Eskimo.
So okay, so my idea, sell them ready ice cubes to build their house, and tell them that this can save your time. You no need to do your own ice cube. I will do it for you, and probably you can spend this time to go and earn more money, catch more fishes, or you can build a bigger house. So you actually look at their needs. You are providing a solution to them. So you are going to be the legend to sell them this ice cube. So you want to be like this or to be like this? So let's awaken the lion in you. Thank you.
Very good sharing.
好了，太好了，劲啊，这个。
Any questions to ask Ho? Yeah, but I also have a question like, what kinds of job or occupation will be die out after the pandemic or eliminate from this pandemic? Any?
Okay, my opinion one of the things that will goes off is, okay, last time during my age I think that maybe Subi is the same age after SPM, we have a lot of people. You'll find that a lot of people actually look for one course. What course is that? Subi, last time your friend when maybe our SPM time after finish, then people go for uni, all these things, right? So do you realize that a lot of people look for this job account, LCCI, they go for ACCA, all these things?
Yeah.
I think this job is going to be I won't say a history, we still need accountant, but we used to, every company used to need one accountant. But I think this job will be going, become, not say don't have lah, but a lot of the opportunities, job opportunities were gone. Maybe half of them are not needed anymore over time. Because a lot of time we will spend maybe to do bank recon and all these things, right? Nowadays, other countries, there are some software to maybe they can actually do like a semi-auto bank recon or auto bank recon. So they can capture, you download the statement, they can capture the thing, and maybe your system, you already key in some invoice, all these things, they can match automatically. This is one of them lah. So they are also, I think they are, I think some of us have read some books about what jobs to be disappear and all these things lah. I think accounting, some admin work, I would say. Admin work, even some hotel, even nowadays, maybe some hotel, they will pass some of the jobs to even some of the cleaners, all these things, because they have equipment to help them do it faster.
Salesperson, intermediate person.
Salesperson, yes. Salesperson, the more common goods, maybe they don't need a salesperson anymore. Maybe the big ticket items, they still need salesperson. These are all in general, but there won't be like suddenly this job no more or whatever, but it will be a reduction. There are some, not only jobs, but some industries will actually like slowly more difficult to, some companies they will be more difficult to, or they won't get they will get much less business. For example, maybe like a wholesaler, because a lot of times nowadays you can find maybe Nestle directly in Shopee. People, they will actually face the customer directly. And last time, maybe you have a wholesaler, or before they actually sell to the shopping mall, all these things. Nowadays, everyone is doing it directly. Every factory, big factories, they are doing directly. Unless there are some middle, small manufacturers who don't have all these systems in place, or they can't handle these things, then they will pass it to a wholesaler. Or maybe they are new in the market. Maybe they are like branded goods overseas. They come to Malaysia, they are new, then they will hand to a wholesaler or like a agent. But all these things slowly, they will actually come and take over.